Hello Taurus, hello and welcome into your general tarot card reading for the second week of February. So I will be covering the 8th to the 15th of Feb. And Taurus, what an interesting cards you have. Wow, what a message. So what do we have here? We have Page of Wands, we have 10 of Swords, we have the Devil, and then we have this additional commentary. This fourth card is rune. This rune is called Sorel. It means sun, soul, and it's representing overcoming difficulties. And if you're going to see that 10 of Swords is representing, there's a dark background and a little bit of yellowish, and there is a body of water and the mountains, blue mountains. This is talking about the darkest hour is just before the dawn. Is also the devil is on a dark background and he's holding a torch, and the torch is kind of held down. So there's a lack of clarity within the situation. I'm going to go in a minute in diving into individual card meanings, but I just want to convey what's coming. And there's a lack of clarity, and because you have this additional commentary, this rune called Sun, and he's in charge, and he's conquering, and the sun is at its peak, it's at zenith. Basically what the overall message here is, you can do it, you can overcome this, because the 10 of Swords is representing the end of cycle, is about understanding that things came to the end and it's no point fighting for them, because you might have exhausted all avenues, and you might be either backstabbed, or you might feel being abandoned, or you might have that feeling of a burden. This is because to realize that things that you were going for, things that you have been chasing, they were unattainable. There were things that you were wanted, but not necessarily things that you needed, and this is or should be taken, Taurus, as a learning curve. And the devil is talking about some kind of situation here, but I'm going to come back to the minute in a minute. I'm going to do this deep dive into each individual card to give you better understanding. But I think the devil over here, it comes as it just wants to make you aware. What I'm getting, he's like saying, hello Taurus, just to let you know I'm here, kind of here, and there's something that is going to come to the surface. I think he is speaking about things coming to the surface, and actually for some of you Tauruses, you're going to see I heard it, I love it. You're going to see the true face of other people, and you're going to see why you couldn't count on certain people, and how certain people they are, that what they are, the true colors. That's what's coming through. So when it comes to the Page of Wands, Page of Wands is indication of wands that are talking about the will, they're talking about force of life, and also they're talking about learning. And this is very much about learning. I feel this is very much about learning. And with the pages, they quite often they are bearers of messages, but also they are talking about an endeavor and wanting to learn and see and experience certain types of things. So it's also about the experience. Quite often pages might be representing a lover, they might be representing someone who's full of beans, someone who is very charismatic, someone who has a lot to go for, and that is this kind of representing of the page. And with the page, because he's so eager and he's very focused, if you're going to look at him, he's looking up to his wand, and that sprouts there's new growth of there. So there is this ability to see things and see potential of those things. So if that is the to do, and that might be to do with information, so there might be some kind of potential coming from an information, let's call it a message of any kind of sort of coming from any type of message, any kind of information. So there might be email, there might be a letter, but also there might be information coming from your friend, relative, news, whatever it might be, and those news are going to be very promising, but something, it's almost like I'm feeling the 10 is talking about the undercurrent over here. Something that's going to take you by surprise, something that might have been, you haven't been expecting over here, Taurus, because you see the page is looking up, but what is happening underneath the gaze of page, he's not really aware. So and that might be also, the 10 might be talking about somebody else's misfortune coming from your friend's family, you have it, but also you might encounter a situation that you will be taken by surprise by it. And with the 10 of Swords, 10s, they're representing end of cycle. 10 is representing this force which makes the full, just full cycle once again. It's representing the cycle. But with the being in the aspect of Swords, it's representing the change that brings the pain, affliction, tears, sadness, loss, suffering, devastation, problems, anxieties, betrayal, grief, distress, but also it's something about karmic lesson and endings. And with the devil is to say you're not bound to it, whatever is happening, because those two figures on the front of the devil, they can move away whatever time they want. And with the soul, the sun over here, you can conquer and you can bring the light into the darkness of that situation or whatever is happening. So, and fun enough, in astrology, 10 of Swords is quite often linked with you, Taurus, and also it's talking about Uranus and Venus. So Uranus is all about things happening and kind of unpredictability, but Venus is talking about this love and compassion at the same time. So there's a very interesting combination over here. So what I would say, that even though this is happening, whatever this thing going to come to the end, and you have the Page of Wands, presumably indicating the beginning as well, the 10 is also going to denote a new beginnings. A new beginning starting from scratch, where changes are going to be built on some kind of difficult, challenging experiences it's going to be, this new beginning will be feasible because it's going to build on some kind of learning curve, and this learning curve might be to do with the failure and some kind of destruction. So the 10 is quite often representing 10 of Swords, in aspects of Swords, it's representing kind of hard and difficult life lesson, and quite often it's painful, but also it's release of a karma. something that has to be learned in order to release it, if that makes sense. And also, the 10, for some of you might be representing or might be indicating some kind of difficulties when it comes to the legal issues or situation that is, it's almost a situation where you have a very little or no maneuver. And it's better to face the situation. And when it comes to your career or the job-wise, you might kind of feel that you either reach the point where you can go no more, or you feel like you are either in the wrong job or in the wrong profession. And that's this is going to kind of going to be indication of wanting to change. But with the devil, there might be fear or this kind of understanding that this is not feasible, that you might feel like you're bound by this whatever is happening. If you're going to call it a bad luck or that situation, you feel you're kind of bound to it. And this is the indication here because of the Sorel, the sun, is to say this is not a case, Taurus. This is not a case. This is talking about, the devil is talking about this self-imposed limitations. It's talking about clinging to security. Might be talking about, because of those, those 10 of swords, because they might be so difficult to go through. There might be, they might stir within you some kind of anger, resentment, discontent, feeling of helplessness, also depression. And then you might go on the, let's say, devil sometimes is indicating that when we have that kind of feeling, things going wrong, you might have that feeling, what the heck, why do I care? And then you're going to go and have a drink, or you're going to overeat, or you're going to smoke too much, or you're going to do and whatever you would like to indulge. So this is also kind of representing this situation. You might just take on something in order to have reaction, to have a reaction. And it's representing the form of bondage, but because the devil is representing also principle of sex, because 5, 15, 1 plus 5 give us 6. 6 is all about the choices, and life is about the choices. And sometimes, even though life might not give us choices that we would ideally like to have, the devil is talking about you have a choice, and you're either going to be wanting to stay and reminiscing over how the things went wrong, or you're going to take the charge, and the indication is here to take charge, Taurus, and introduce some light to the situation, basically to not drown yourself in if that is the anger, or if that is the discontent, if that is a resentment, and if you're going to go and have this moment of self-indulgence or some kind of sometimes some of you might go to the illness, and you might kind of have this moment of repression. You know what? That is your choice. What are you going to do about this? And I think this is all about saying to yourself, okay, this has happened. I'm not going to be either defined or determined by it. What is my next step? What is it that I would like to do next? So that is the overall reading and message for you, Taurus, for the second week of Feb. Thank you for tuning, and bye for now. If this reading has resonated with you, please like, comment and subscribe to my channel. If you would like to book a private reading with me, please feel free to go to my website www.tarotwithmishka.co.uk, or alternatively you can email me at mishka@tarotwithmishka.co.uk. If you'd like to find me on Facebook, just simply type in Tarot with Mishka. I would like to say a massive thank you for tuning in, and bye for now.